Hi and welcome back to Mike vs. Kitchen, the show where I, Mike, give myself some kitchen challenges with the hopes of a delicious outcome and maybe learning something new. In today's episode, we're going to sidestep the 30 by 30 list and try something a little bit new. Today we're going to attempt gnocchi. Gnocchi is basically a potato pasta. It's made with potato, flour and egg, combined together and cut into delicious little nuggets of potatoey goodness. The nice thing about gnocchi is the recipes say that you can use your leftover potatoes from, say, last night, combine with all the ingredients, and et voila. So you're repurposing something that you've made last night and making something new. Speaking like you actually both know. Quite similarly to pasta, gnocchi is also quite versatile and you can serve it with pretty much anything. In today's episode, I'm going to be walking you through how to do a brown butter and sage seared gnocchi. So yeah, this sounds delicious. Let's get started. The recipe for gnocchi itself, similarly to pasta, is fairly simple. It calls for 2 cups of flour and 1 egg per 2 medium-sized potatoes. I'm going to call these medium-sized. What we're going to need to do is mash our potatoes, then combine the flour and egg into the mash. Mix it up, put it on our flour work surface, roll it into a snake, and then chop it to bite-sized pieces. Through the magic of the internet, I'm going to turn my 4 potatoes into mash in the click of my fingers. Here goes. Now that my potatoes are mashed, I can add in my flour and egg. As previously mentioned, it's 2 cups of flour and 1 egg to 2 medium potatoes. Let's do this. 1 egg, 2 cups of flour. I'm going to add this bit by bit, stirring in between just to make everything a little bit easier. Yeah, but I don't think you need to worry too much about it not combining 100% because we're going to need this, we're going to need this properly in time. So now what we're going to do is we're going to mix this all together until it's fairly well combined, and after that I'm going to get in there with my hands and mix it together properly, then give it a good knead before I roll it out and chop it up. Let's go! Now that I've kneaded my dough and combined all my ingredients, I can divide it up and roll it out into snakes. I'm going to divide my dough in 4 and then try roll into snakes and see how long they get. You want to roll them into a snake about the thickness of your thumb. And then we're going to chop that up into little pieces. So let's see how this goes. You want to be working on a very generously floured work surface. The dough is very sticky. So yeah, very generously floured work surface. Don't forget to keep flouring your hands because it will keep the dough off your fingers. Okay, let's try this. So the nice thing about gnocchi is you can use last night's leftover potatoes. So yeah, nothing, you don't have to let them go to waste. You can just use the leftovers, which is kind of a nice analogy that just because something didn't go according to the original plan doesn't mean it's a failure. From something that didn't get eaten last night, we can make something delicious today. Okay, so now that my snake is rolled into a sausage roughly the thickness of my finger, give or take some sections, I can chop it up. Okay, so thickness of my finger, and you want to chop it up into little bite-sized nuggets. Nugget, 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 nugget. Cool. There you have it, our little nuggets of gnocchi. Nuggets of gnocchi. And now we can put these to a side and let them dry a little while we do the rest. After rolling, cutting, and then pushing down gently with a fork, this is what we end up with, a pile of gnocchi, or a pile of deliciousness in the making. Cooking the gnocchi is fairly simple. all we're going to do is bring a pot of water to the boil with some salt, pop the gnocchi in for 2 to 3 minutes, and when they start to rise, you can drain it and take it out. Just be careful when you put it in as not to clump them too much because they may stick together. For the topping or the sauce, we're going to pop our butter into a frying pan and melt it. Once it's melted, we're going to pop a couple of sage leaves in and fry those until they become slightly brown and slightly crispy. This will be about 2 to 3 minutes. At this point, we can pop our cooked gnocchi into that, fry it around, sear it a little bit. You don't want to put too much in because it will stick together. Sear and then serve. Not too bad. Let's get cooking. And here it is, our handmade gnocchi fried in brown butter and sage and served with salt, pepper and lemon zest. Now is the moment of truth. Let's try this. Getting some sage and gnocchi and a little bit of butter. It's rich and delicious. Very subtle flavors of the butter and the sage come through. It's absolutely wonderful. However, if I can give you some sage advice, when you cut and prepare your gnocchi, make sure you put them all separately to each other, otherwise they do stick together. I've hidden it away in the back, but I now have a ball of gnocchi dough that I cannot separate into individual bites, that I'm going to have to re-roll and redo. Just remember, keep your gnocchi apart, they will stick together. Otherwise, I think it turned out quite gnocchi. This week's challenge of handmade gnocchi fried in brown butter and sage has turned out quite well. However, I'm gonna have to call it a draw. The gnocchi and sage itself was fantastic, but the ball of congealed gnocchi I have hidden in the back, that's not so great. So I'm gonna call it a draw this week between the Mike and Kitchen. Thanks for tuning in once again to Mike vs. Kitchen. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and comment down below if you have ideas of future challenges that I can take on. I hope to see you soon. Keep safe. Bye.